I played video games since I was 4 or 5 years old. I only had one color, and they were two-dimensional. Pac-Man is a game, and the initial Pac-Man was one color. The video games are always novel in the fact that they are evolving constantly. Right, games can be bigger and bigger and more immersive. The very first game was like Pong. Pong is still fun.
I mean, Pong, by default, is the first game. That was the Halo of the 70s. I mean, they should have advanced Pong by now.
We went from Pong to GTA 6.
I mean, it's literally just digital ping pong. That's where it comes from. Pong is ping pong.
They made it digital. It's been fucked up. They should have left the analog.
All you do is move the joystick up and down. You don't need to press a button. You just move up and down. If it's the first game, there's only one control. You just move up and down. It's not even a button. We need modern Pong.
Yo, like what, with like power-ups and shit like that?
Story mode.
Story mode in Pong?
Story does help engage, but just being more immersive does not make something more fun. It's game mechanics. Game mechanics are what make things addictive. Look at addictive to poker. No one gives a shit about the backstory of Pac-Man, but people have fun playing Pac-Man and spend hours and hours doing it. Too much games can give too much instant gratification, and instant gratification is not good for human beings. It's how hamsters and rats kill themselves in cocaine studies, right? The hamster keeps on going after the cocaine water until it kills itself.
If we went to like the opera and there was no use of electricity or electronics or video or amplified sound, you might actually be kind of underwhelmed at this point. But like 200 years ago, that was fucking magic. Like all those sets and all those costumes and the acoustic resonance of that space, that was fucking crazy. Like now you'd be like, dude, how come there's no video? Or like, how come there's no special effects? Or how come there's no lighting? We're getting more and more immunized to things. That's why we need stuff like the Sphere. The Sphere is like the fucking like heroin junkie outcome of like our addiction to multimedia as a necessary fact in live performance, even though it isn't. You don't just go to a music performance to listen to music. You go to a music performance to see people who believe in themselves. Like that's why we go. The best band I ever saw was this blues group. They were the house band of this pub called The Station. And the house band was called Harry Kane and the Moneymakers. And they never put out records. They never tour. They only play in this one place. They'll never be famous because they never put out a record. And so that means nobody knows about them. It's almost like they vanished. It all vanishes into oral history.
Is it okay to vanish?
Yeah, it is okay to vanish. But it is not culturally valorized to vanish.
I just think it's really interesting that like most people are going to vanish and I feel like more easily and more quickly than before because everything's digital. Because I just think of like the fact that my mom like had so many cell phones and digital cameras that she just lost, and like all of the pictures like of me and my development like went with them. When you die, like where does that really go? All the pictures that you took or have been taken of you, and all of the comments that you made, all of the things you liked, or like all of that shit that we like are so obsessed with, it's so like it just means nothing, and it will just it's like, what impact can the average person really make on like this world? It's like you can't really make any impact because everything you do, it's just collected and stored in these like bins. The data, all of this data, you as a person are data, and one day you will be gone completely. And it's like there's no analog for you anymore. It's like, what can the average person really do to like let people know that they like exist or that they were here? That it just seems like it's so like hard to do that.
I mean, that's the nice thing about being an artist, right? You can't kill me if you tried, because my stuff is out there. It doesn't really matter about my consciousness. I've embedded my consciousness into a bunch of artifacts that exist, and they're very hard to get rid of. It's like a real leap of ego to say that what I have to think is so valuable that Future generations can't do without it. You know, that's like the kind of shit like Elon Musk thinks when he's like, you know, having phone sex with Jeff Bezos at 3 a.m. or whatever they do. 10 years ago, when I was a big deal, and I was having big museum shows, decided to stop. You know, people would have said I was an American portraitist. I was the first big American portraitist of the 21st century. That's the quote from Art Forum. But I'd rather just hang out and shoot the shit with you guys and make synthesizers. It's more fun. I've already done everything I need to do. I think people should have the right to vanish. My mother was terrified of being buried. It was really funny when she was dying. Her family, her cousins up in Boston had like a cemetery plot for her, and she was completely like flipped out about it. She was like, I don't want that. I don't want there to be a physical place where you guys have to go once a year to stick some stupid flowers on a fucking rock. Like, and so we cremated her and cast her into the Irish Sea off the, do you know what the Giant's Causeway is?
No.
It's my favorite place on earth. This volcanic rock formation northeast of Ireland. Looks like this.